CIA document that just came out a few days ago about the justification that the Bush administration put in place to using the national intelligence estimate and estimates like that to justify the war in Iraq. Now this dovetails to an important story that most people, including the mainstream media, has barely even touched or let alone mentioned at all, is the idea related with intelligence, but also the nuclear weapons programs that the mainstream media fails to even report on, let alone acknowledge that they even exist. And this nuclear program is coming from Israel. Yes, you heard it right, Israel's nuclear program. Now, most people don't assume that Israel has a nuclear weapons program. They've flatly denied its existence wholeheartedly. But we're going to break it down for you in this video related with the history of their program and how intelligence is used to manipulate its findings, etc., related with Iran and other histories involved with Israel. But first we'll go with the Iraq justification, the Iraq war justification that came out with that document. Now it really transitions into the idea that when this evidence was coming out, there was evidence from George Tenet, from Condoleezza Rice to George W. Bush to even Donald Rumsfeld coming out and saying that we have proof, we have solid proof, we have bulletproof evidence, quoting Donald Rumsfeld from a New York Times article, saying that Iraq's linked to Al-Qaeda to justify the war to invade Iraq. George Tenet even called it a slam dunk. Donald Rumsfeld used bulletproof. Things like that to basically lie to the American people to justify going into Iraq and then continuing to occupy that part of the world. Now, going to Israel's nuclear program, which is the basic, which is most of what we'll be talking about in this video, but what it really goes into is the idea of the secrecy, that Israel could demonize Iran not just about its nuclear program, but about its true agenda. They put out several propaganda pieces, let alone fear-mongering, straight up fear-mongering by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, where he's on the record several times, going back decades ago, saying that Iran is going to have a nuclear program and disrupt the Middle East, and it'll cause a war in the Middle East. We can't have a country in the Middle East that has a nuclear weapons program. But they fail to mention that Israel has a nuclear weapons program, but they refuse to even acknowledge its existence. Now, we're going to go into the history of it and how the U.S. funded, U.S. along with other allied nations, Great Britain and other countries, that they funded the inception of Israel's nuclear weapons program. Going back to September of 1969 with Richard Nixon and the Israeli Prime Minister at the time, Golda Meir, I may be pronouncing that wrong, but Golda Meir came out with a secret meeting that basically gave the green light for Israel to start their nuclear weapons program. Now, there's no transcript of this existing, but there's a quote from a book that someone wrote about this that is the only reason that we know about this meeting that took place back then, which basically said the United States to turn a blind eye to Israel's nuclear weapons program. We're going to give you this is our justification. We're going to give you the funds. We're going to give you the materials to start a nuclear weapons program, which we'll go into more detail later. But we're going to give you the green light, and we're going to look the other way and then basically flat out deny it even exists. It goes even further when a CIA document, a 4-page summary, which was titled Prospects for Further Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons, came out in the 70s, which basically said that the U.S. government, they broke their silence by accident with this document. They flat out knew. This came out in 1974, quoting the report, "We believe that Israel already has produced nuclear weapons." This was back in 1974. That they already flat out knew that they were building it, because of course they were. The U.S. government was helping them with supplies and other materials along with other countries, allied countries, to build Israel's nuclear weapons program in secret. And another title from a New York Times article saying CIA said in 1974 Israel had A-bombs. So it kind of continues with that. For the flat-out secrecy that Israel can continue to demonize Iran, and saying that it's in secret and their secret program. But meanwhile, nobody wants to look at Israel's own nuclear weapons program and give them the scrutiny that they're giving Iran so much that it's completely absurd. It really is absurd. But going back to a whistleblower that came out, which I highly encourage people to check out this documentary, Mordecai Vanunu, who was a scientist, technician at the Simona nuclear facility, which was completely secret until Vanunu came out with photos that were given to a UK paper, UK reporters, basically revealed the existence of this facility where they were secretly building. It was an underground facility where they were secretly building nuclear weapons for Israel's use to defend itself. Well, that's their justification. And even when Mordecai Vanunu was vilified by the media and eventually was thrown in prison for treason by the Mossad, thrown in prison in solitary confinement for over 10 years, decades. In 1986, the CIA, Israel came out and said we can't confirm or deny the existence of the nuclear weapons program that he exposed. So they up until today, this is their official position, saying we can neither confirm nor deny the existence of it. So the real point with this is to really talk about that Israel demonizes Iran with so much scrutiny with their program. But nobody will touch the aspects of Israel's nuclear weapons program, which Israel always claims that we're a tiny country in the middle of a war zone, the Middle East, that we need to have weapons to defend ourselves. But don't take the moral high ground and say that Iran doesn't want, Iran is building a nuclear weapons program, but you build one in secret, and then nobody else wants to cover that or even touch that subject. Now, related with the the non-proliferation treaty, which countries sign to prevent the spread of nuclear weapons. Iran, out of the United States and Israel, Iran is the only one that signed that, going back to the 1960s, even up until today. Countries like the United States and Israel have not signed the non-proliferation treaty, because that would be a complete that would break the facade, because U.S. and other countries have funded Israel's nuclear weapons program, which basically dovetails to saying that we gave Israel the materials, which is uranium, the supplies to build a nuclear facility. We gave it to another country, which would violate that same treaty that they're supposedly signing. So it relates to the hypocrisy of the United States and also Israel for condemning Iran to build a nuclear program, which they've come out multiple times and saying it's for peaceful purposes. We're not building a nuclear weapons program. And why wouldn't they? Because Iran, the way Iran is situated right now, based on the occupations of the U.S. military in that Middle East, they're basically surrounded by 45 military bases by the United States military in their area, right near Iran, right near their country. So why would they be so, if they build one bomb and they attack Israel, they know they would be overwhelmingly wiped out because of the U.S. backing Israel to attack and retaliate when they do that, which they never will, because they're not that dumb. And the U.S. government does know that, which is why it's really perplexing to see this all unfold, where they're demonizing Iran for their program, for their supposed nuclear weapons program, which is building a nuclear bomb. Meanwhile, the U.S. government, the United States, still has thousands of them, including Israel, that we know of. We don't know an exact number that Israel has, how many nuclear weapons they actually have. We're only going off of estimates based on reports that have been taking place throughout the decades. But it really goes into the whole propaganda and how propaganda works, related with Iran. And the demonization, where quotes have been mistranslated, taken out of context, that when Iran's leader Ahmadinejad said, "Wipe Israel off the map," which the media, including Fox News, which was only one part of it, the mainstream media is all in the arms of the establishment for putting out their own propaganda for public consumption. But they came out and said, look, Ahmadinejad's going to get a nuclear weapon and blow Israel off the map. But he actually said that most people don't know in the translation, it was saying wiping the Zionist regime from the pages of history. That's how it's translated in that statement. Meanwhile, the media parroted the idea, saying that Ahmadinejad said wipe Israel off the map, so we have to continue giving Israel billions of dollars to fund their military, to fund their occupation of Palestine and in Gaza and other places like that. All in the same area. And Israel's only justification is we're defending ourselves, we're defending ourselves, we're defending ourselves. It's the same line over and over again. So with this video, what I hope for people to know in this video is to make you think about these subjects and how they are important, and commenting in this video below to see what you think about this. Because the way the media is portraying this about Iran, the demonization of Iran's nuclear program, which is for people's peaceful purposes, that's been proven. But there's so much scrutiny to them because they're the opposite country. But meanwhile, no one gives scrutiny to Israel's nuclear program, which they flatly denied it exists, but they've been building it in secret with the help of the US and other allies for years, for decades, without any mention of it in the mainstream media. So let us know what you think of this video in the description below about this and other topics. We've done interviews with whistleblowers who actually pre-9/11, pre-Iraq war intelligence whistleblower, Susan Lindauer, along with others, but specifically this one, who we've interviewed about this, and how the intelligence is used to manipulate and to justify wars for no reason, going back to Iraq and then in the beginning of this video. So again, check out those interviews along with all of the other interviews that we have on our YouTube channel and also our website for people to check out, and let us know what you think, because it really is important for people to pay attention to these issues, not just about Iran's nuclear program, which the media focuses on severely. They focus on so much, but they won't talk about Israel's nuclear program. So let us know what you think of this video. Again, don't forget to subscribe for more videos coming soon about this topic, all the other topics, and so much more. Again, thank you so much everybody for watching, and stay tuned for more videos coming soon.